this this is also known as a land of darkness. It's one culture, like the colonizers in this case, takes the Native American culture and uses their tradition and ways in a disrespectful way. Unauthorized use one culture. Also making fun of the culture, trying to imitate their native tongue and music. This, to me, you see this meme, I'm honoring you, dude. And this other one, no, you're not. This is kind of offensive. Some people don't understand how offensive or misused of what they're doing to the Native American culture. Okay, just like when the colonizers in Hollywood, they would play plain Indians. This concept they have done in movies was inappropriate, acting and portraying the culture that they thought was how natives were by making fun of, like I said, by making fun of their culture, trying to imitate their native tongue. It's a lot to handle because no matter what it's looked at, they're being very disrespectful. And some people aren't seeing it as being disrespectful. They're seeing it as they're honoring the Native Americans, but yet they don't know the true meaning or the true customs of what Native Americans, who they are and what they are. To me, it's all disrespectful. It's not right. Culture confusion. Oh, culture confusion. You question your own self as a race. You identify as, for example, as a Native American child, you grow up, you are taught a different way about who you are as Native people, or about who our Native people are. They lose that self, that identity growing up. In most cases, the Native American children, where they had to grow up in an era where back in the day where playing cowboys and Indians was a thing, learning English, learning the colonizers' ways of living, and it's still to this day sometimes it's like that. Like now we're trying to teach we as Indians and other Indians around the world or around the United States, and we're trying to teach our young ones our ancestries and our history and what really happened from then. But in music and movies, it's like they think that Indians are just wild savages and not smart. We do what the colonizer says to do, and most Indians out there end up being a race, which it's not true. There's just confusion with culture. What is blackface? Minstrel. Let's see. I don't know how to say that. But blackface, what blackface is, though, is colonizers would paint their face black and imitate the African Americans as low self human beings. And the blackface minstrel shows, it was played by a group of colonizers that travelers around as musicians, dancing, acting, doing comic skits, singing with black faces. They made black folks, or in my term, African Americans, they make African Americans seem like they were happy-go-lucky people, lazy and not smart at all. To me, they really never appreciated them. It was portrayed as a comedy to make people laugh by wearing black faces and acting like African Americans, which they portrayed them as these people in a harsh way. The same with Native Americans. It's like these colonizers didn't have anything else to do besides make fun of African Americans and Native Americans. It's like they didn't have anything on their hand, just enough time to sit there and be like, oh, let's paint our faces black. Oh, let's paint our faces red. You know, let's show our other colonizers, our other people, you know, how we think of African Americans and Native Americans. Jim Crow was one of the popular blackface people. Dude was horrible. He was played by Thomas Rice. He was actually the father of the minstrel, or however you say it, those shows. And it was always the guys who imitated the African American men. And just like how he was one of the very first people, or the main known people, another main known person that did the red face, singing red face or playing Indians, was Iron Eye Cody. And I had talked about him earlier in the previous slides. Here we have both. There's pictures of showing blackface and cartoons and Bugs Bunny. Everybody grew up watching Bugs Bunny. I grew up watching Bugs Bunny as a kid and not understanding what racial slurs and stuff that were happening in these cartoons, and how actual cultures were being portrayed as. We as Native Americans can relate to the African Americans. It's both of their own culture was misrepresented and misuse of information. Both cultures can agree that they were portrayed as low lives and having their culture being made fun of. All the entertainment for the races, unapologetic, inappropriate, and evil colonizers. It's horrible.